A warm greeting to everyone. Today is Friday, August 9th, 2024. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia. At the time of recording this video, it is 7 a.m. local time in the northeastern Caribbean, where we are closely monitoring the evolution of a strong tropical wave that has a medium probability of developing into a tropical depression or tropical storm and passing over our region during Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. In this video, I will be discussing the conditions just east of the Lesser Antilles and near Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic to try to forecast where this future cyclone might pass and with what intensity. There are two very important words that meteorologists consider when making forecasts related to tropical systems. The first is consistency, and the second is consensus. This means that when we have consistency and consensus among the global models, the forecasts tend to be more accurate. And today, that is precisely what we have, which also suggests that few changes could occur over the next few days. We can already begin to establish with some accuracy where this tropical cyclone might pass. I would like to emphasize that it is very important for the northern Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic. Stay very attentive to this tropical wave, because there is consensus and consistency that the system could reach our area as a tropical depression or tropical storm during the early to middle part of next week. Let's zoom in a bit on the infrared satellite image. You can see that the tropical wave is currently disorganized, and the cyclonic organization process will be quite slow for at least the next 3 to 4 days. However, when it arrives just east of the Lesser Antilles, it will encounter more favorable conditions for development. Due to the consistency and consensus among the models, the National Hurricane Center has continued to increase the probabilities of development, maintaining a 50% chance that a tropical depression will develop over the next few days, either just east of the Lesser Antilles or near the northeastern Caribbean. It is very likely that these development probabilities will continue to increase over the next few days as the tropical wave moves west or west-northwest in its trajectory. The tropical wave will be passing over sea surface temperatures that are above normal, and specifically, the temperatures just east of the Lesser Antilles increase considerably, which could help make this tropical wave very active as it approaches the Caribbean. The main impediment over the next 3 days is dry air to the north-northwest of the wave's axis, which may be interfering somewhat with its development. However, when the tropical wave reaches just east of the Lesser Antilles, the warm ocean temperatures will help create a much more humid environment that can promote the formation of thunderstorms and begin the cyclogenesis process. Another impediment to significant development and strengthening, at least before it reaches the northeastern Caribbean, is a trough in the upper levels of the atmosphere that is projected to be located just north of the Caribbean. As this disturbance approaches the area, it could face some wind shear, which could limit its strengthening. This is why the models show a tropical depression or tropical storm passing through this region. However, we cannot yet rule out the possibility that it could strengthen more than anticipated, especially since if this system manages to position itself ideally near the trough, it could provide good ventilation toward the northern and northeastern quadrants of the circulation. And when crossing over the Lesser Antilles, with a bit of luck, it may find favorable conditions for strengthening despite the wind shear that could affect its circulation. Although we have consensus and consistency in the trajectory models, there is still uncertainty about how strong it could be when passing through this region. However, the most likely scenario at the moment is that it will arrive as a tropical depression or tropical storm. Now let's look at the global model runs. But before that, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of the videos I'll be recording over the next few days. Go to the bottom of the video, click the red button that says subscribe, and then click the bell so you get notifications when I post new videos. Let's start by looking at the latest run of the GFS model that just came out this morning. Here we have the possible formation of a tropical depression during the early hours of Monday, with the system moving west or west-northwest, eventually crossing over the Lesser Antilles and Puerto Rico between Tuesday night and Wednesday afternoon. In this run, the GFS model shows a moderate to strong tropical storm crossing over Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands on Wednesday morning, and then passing just northeast of the Dominican Republic, possibly as a Category 1 hurricane. Then, in the long term, the GFS model projects that it will continue its trajectory toward the northwest, and could eventually become of interest to the east coast of the United States. Interestingly, the GFS model has been very consistent in showing a tropical cyclone over the northeastern Caribbean in recent runs, which increases confidence in this forecast. However, as you can see, there have been significant changes in the intensity at which this tropical cyclone could arrive. Once again, quite a bit of consistency in its trajectory, but little consistency in the intensity it could have when passing through the Caribbean region. On the other hand, we also have consistency among the ensemble members of the GFS model. You can see that all of them bring this potential future cyclone over or very close to the northeastern Caribbean, some with a more southerly trajectory, passing south of Puerto Rico and eventually very close to the Dominican Republic, while others have a trajectory over the northern Lesser Antilles and near or over eastern Puerto Rico. Also, notice some inconsistency in the intensity represented by the colors. Some show a tropical storm in this region, while others show a strong tropical storm or hurricane. Now let's look at the run of the European model. Here we have a tropical depression forming just east of the Lesser Antilles during the night hours of Monday. The European model takes longer to develop this tropical wave. Because of this, the European model currently has a weak tropical depression or tropical storm crossing over Puerto Rico during the night hours of Tuesday, and eventually moving northwest, passing near the Turks and Caicos Islands and moving north very close to Bermuda. In fact, in the long term, conditions will be very favorable for possibly forming a major hurricane in the southwestern Atlantic, which is of particular interest to Bermuda and perhaps the northeastern United States. Like the American model, the European model has been very consistent in the trajectory and intensity of this disturbance, continuing to project that a weak tropical depression or tropical storm will pass through the northeastern Caribbean during the night hours of Tuesday or early Wednesday. Additionally, we have good consensus among the members of the European model. All of them have a tropical depression or tropical storm with a trajectory over the northeastern Caribbean, meaning over the northern Lesser Antilles, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and perhaps just east or northeast of the Dominican Republic. Also, notice that some members have a more westerly trajectory, so the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and the Bahamas should continue to monitor its progress. The consensus is even greater when, in addition to the two best models, we have other models showing development and the same trajectory. For example, in the latest projection of the German model, we have a tropical storm passing just south or over Puerto Rico during the early hours of Wednesday. Similarly, this model has been consistent in bringing this system to the northeastern Caribbean. As if that wasn't enough, we also have the UK model, which also shows a tropical depression forming in the northeastern Caribbean during the night hours of Tuesday. In summary, although this tropical wave is still far from the Caribbean region and we have many days to monitor it calmly, the reality is that there is consensus and consistency among all the models that it will maintain a trajectory west or west-northwest, and the probabilities of it reaching the northeastern Caribbean are quite high for a medium to long-term forecast. I think it's most appropriate to consider that this cyclone would pass about 150 miles northeast of the Caribbean or enter Caribbean waters, which represents a higher than usual threat for a medium to long-term forecast. What remains uncertain is how strong it could be when passing through this region. The faster it organizes, the more it could move northwest, while if it remains weaker than projected, it could move more to the west. The important thing is that throughout the weekend, residents of the northeastern Caribbean, meaning the Lesser Antilles, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Haiti, should stay very attentive to the National Hurricane Center's outlooks. And here at Hurricane Info, I will continue to create content to keep you informed. Well, I'll say goodbye for now. If there are significant changes in the forecast, I'll record a video during the afternoon or evening today. If there are no significant changes, the next video will be during the morning hours of Saturday. I hope everyone has an excellent weekend. Until the next video,